Today we'll do a code in JavaFx and we'll be creating a text input dialog, and we'll also create an alert type alert dialog, alert type.information, and we'll also create an alert confirm dialog, alert type.confirmation. So I've already imported these packages, the JavaFx library. So import all the JavaFx .application, scene.control.alert, scene.control.alert.alertType, scene.control.buttonType, scene.control.textInputDialog, and stage.stage. So after you do all that, we're just working in one class today, so we're not working in two classes or any more than that, just one. So we'll just start by importing, or just by writing the class. So public class main extends application, so then open some square brackets, and then we'll say so we'll just we'll define the main class extends application, and then just say we'll create the start method, so public void start. It'll take a stage, primary stage, and actually above that we'll just create one private variable, so it'll be the private stage, primary stage. Then here we'll just say this dot primary stage equals to primary stage. So we'll create a Boolean variable, so we'll say Boolean do another calculation. We'll set it equal to true, and then we'll create an int val, and then a string result val, and then we'll say while do another calculation. So when you just call a Boolean variable like that, all it's saying is while do another calculation. So while do another calculation is equal to true. So that's all that it's saying. While, so if it just calls the Boolean name, all it's saying is while that Boolean do another calculation is equal to true. That's all that it's saying. So if we change this to false, then it wouldn't hit this loop because it's false. So it is true, so we are going to enter this loop then. So here we'll create the text input dialog box. Whoops, no, parentheses. So we'll just say text input dialog. We'll just call it input dialog equals new text input dialog. No parameters, semicolon. And then we'll say input dialog dot set header text. So we'll call the set header text method, and we'll just say is it even or odd. So what a dialog box is it's like a pop-up window. So you've seen them before, so it can be like a confirmation, like a yes or a no. Those are alerts. Dot confirmation, information. So stuff like that. So they're an enumerated type, and they've set the constants. They've set dot information, dot confirmation, and stuff like that. They're all set as constants. So we're not going to get into the whole alert class. So they're from the alert class. If you want to know more about it, just go on the Oracle docs, the API. search JavaFx Oracle Docs API and then alert. And then you'll see the constructor, the methods. There's lots of overloaded constructors, overloaded methods. You'll see the constants and stuff like that. So just read that if you're interested in learning more, or if you don't understand. That's where I go when I don't understand something. So just read that. And then now we'll create the input dialog. No, so we'll call input dialog. Input dialog, then we'll say dot set title. Then we'll set title to even or odd. Then we'll say input dialog dot set content text, and just say enter an integer, please. Excuse me. So enter an integer, please. And then here, just end parentheses and semicolon. So what we're going to say is, beside the text field, we're going to ask them to enter an integer, please. That's what the set content text does for a text input dialog. Then we'll call the optional class optional of type string object. We'll just call numstr. Call it numstr. And we'll set it equal to input dialog dot show and wait. So what the show and wait method does is it waits for a response. It waits for input, right? So then we'll say here, if numstr dot is present, so if there is something entered into the text field, then we'll say val equals to integer dot parse int numstr dot get. So it's what we're saying here is val equals to integer dot parse int. So take the string that was entered and pass it as an integer. So it's going to look for an integer in the string. And numstr, wherever we define numstr, where do we define it? So we define it here in optional string numstr. So we're setting that equal to the text field dot get. So it's the get method. You can look it up. But what it does is, if a value is present, it returns the value, otherwise throws no such element exception. So it basically just gets the value that was entered into the text field. And then now we're going to set that value, so result val is equal to, then we'll say the answer is. We'll set it equal to the string the answer is. Then plus, open two parentheses, and we'll say val modulus 2 equals to 0. So if val remainder 2 is equal to 0, then we'll say, if it's true, return the string it's even, and if it's false, return the string it's odd. Whoops, forgot the string, so it's odd. So after all that, we'll now create, in that if block still, we'll just type some comments, so create alert information dialog box. We'll call the alert class. We'll call it info dialog. We'll set it equal to new alert, the class new alert, and then we'll pass in a parameter alert type. So it's an enumerated type set as a constant dot information. So it's a special type of alert. So then we'll say whoops, did I spell this wrong? No, then we'll say info dialog dot set header text to information. So we're just going to tell the user that it's an information dialog box. Then we'll say info dialog dot set content text, and we'll pass in result val as a parameter. Info dialog with a capital D, because that's what we called it. And then we'll say info dialog dot show and wait. So it's going to show the dialog box, and it's going to wait for a response from the user. So it's going to stay there forever until the user either hits like OK or cancel, or like yes or no, something like that. Or just OK. So then we'll create another one. We'll just say we're going to create an alert confirmation dialog box. And we'll call the alert class, we'll call it confirmation dialog equals to new alert. Then we'll say alert type dot confirmation. So it's a different kind of enumerated type. It's a different constant, sorry. Confirmation dialog with a capital D. So then we'll say we'll call our confirmation dialog alert. Then we'll say confirmation dialog dot set header text again to this one. Then we'll just say confirmation. So we're telling the user it's a confirmation. Then we'll say confirmation dialog again. We'll call it. Then we'll say set content text. Then we'll say want to do another calculation? Question mark. We'll just pass that string to them, so we'll just ask them if they want to do another calculation. Then we'll call optional of type button type. We'll just call it OK cancel. So OK cancel equals, we'll set it equal to confirmation dialog dot show and wait. Then we'll say if OK cancel dot get does not equal to button type dot OK. Then we'll say do another calculation is equal to false. So we're not going to do another calculation. Was there the present check? So then we'll just end that bracket. Then underneath that one we'll close our while loop. So let's just say else, open some square brackets, and then just say do another calculation. We'll set it equal to false again, and that should be all. There should be 2 brackets, else 1, 2. So that's the big that's the big while loop. We'll move that up underneath. Let's see one more time, which is this. It's a big method, so underneath that one actually, we'll create another method, so we'll call the launch method. I think it's that one actually, just double check. Second last, yes, that one. So we'll say, we'll just type the command line here. Public static void main string array args. Don't forget to do this, so launch and then args. Pass in args. Whoops, just do it once, and then we'll just save that and run it. There might be an error somewhere probably. Result val. It's supposed to be a capital V. Should be maybe another mistake somewhere too. Result val again, okay. Change that. So again, I just have a game recorder, Windows 10 game recorder, so it's not going to show you the dialog boxes. But when you run it, you'll see a window pop up on your screen. It's not big, it's just like kind of like a small window. It has a title even or odd, and then it has a header text. What do we call it again? So it has a header text. Is it even or odd? The title is even or odd, and the content text. So the text beside the text field says enter an integer please. So you can enter like 5. You can hit cancel, it's going to stop. Hit OK. And then another pop-up window comes on the screen. It says message, because I don't think we set the title for that. We could have. I guess there's just an alert. I mean, just a default title. So then we said the set header text to information. And what else did we say? Set content text to result val. So it passes that string, and then it says odd using the ternary operator. If I forgot to mention what we were doing, it's just a ternary operator. So it's kind of like an if and else, just like a kind of depends. It's kind of like on the fly. We can do it in one line. We will discuss the ternary operator in another video when I do the basics again. So we'll say, so we can hit OK, or we can just close the window. You can resize these ones, so usually we can resize our boxes. We probably can fix that, but it's just set to a default size, just a default pop-up window size. So if you've seen pop-up windows on the internet, like you've seen them come up on your screen, if you click something and you get like a little virus, basically that's what these boxes are. If we wanted to, we could have done an infinity loop. We could have ran this code to just pop up a bunch of boxes. We could have made millions of boxes on someone's screen. We could have blew up their computer, right? With just some code. But that's probably illegal. But you could do that just for fun if you wanted to do it to your I guess it's gonna use a lot of memory and stuff too, so just be careful. But we could have just done we could have did a infinity loop somewhere here, right? This one or this one, and we could have just did confirmation, or we could have did one of those warning confirmations or something like that. The error confirmation, we could have done an infinity loop, and we could have. I've seen similar things, but I've never seen it actually come up like that. But we could have put up millions of boxes. I guess it just puts it out in one place, but we could have put a million boxes on someone's screen. But anyways, so you can just keep hitting OK. It's gonna keep doing it. It's gonna keep popping up. We didn't try and catch for exceptions yet. We didn't exception handle this, so if you put a letter or a character, it's going to cause an error. We can fix that. So then you can just hit cancel. But we could just put a try. We could put like a try block here. Then we can put some square brackets here. Then we can just say catch. We could just do like a null pointer exception for an example. Just call it E. And we'll say E dot. We can just print out a message, system.out.println. You can just say null pointer. And then we can just call E dot print stack trace. We can just call E dot get message. We can catch another one. Number format exception. E2. I think E would work as well. We can say system.out.println. Number format exception. Pass a string. We can just say E2.printStackTrace again. And then E2.getMessage again. I'm not sure if it'll actually catch that in the dialog box. There might be another exception that we would need, but we can just run it. Oh no, there's an error, spelling mistake, so number format, not formation. So number format exception. Run that. So once an int, we could try like a double. See if it'll pass. An application start method, so we might have had to put that maybe above. We can try it here, so just try. We'll put the bracket at the end of all these. Would we put it above there? What is this one? It's not currently showing it. I guess it would be this. So that's where the try is now. So try. No, I don't want it like that. Should be okay. You could just say catch. We'll just copy these. We could just copy the whole thing actually. All of this. Catch. Let's see, try this. Yeah, it should work. We'll just try it, save it, and run it. Hopefully I did it at the right spot. Okay, it works, so we'll just try 2.0. So again, there's an exception, so we might have to do another type of exception that's on the Oracle docs. I'd have to look at it. So you can, if you want to find the exact exception, you can look on the Oracle docs again under JavaFx, maybe in the dialog boxes. Just have a look for any exceptions, and you can change the catch handlers to the right exception. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the code, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.